What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like, subscribe as you tune into the channel and check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to speak on the recent comments and a situation with Jaylen Brown, right? I think, in my opinion, Jaylen Brown is an excellent basketball player. I think Jaylen Brown had a great season this year, because for the bulk of the season, Jaylen Brown carried the Boston Celtics without Jason Tatum, right? And so now I think some of his frustration came out with him, with the way that they left the playoffs, getting knocked out, by the Sixers, right? And I think he was kind of disappointed in losing. And so when he complained about the referees and maybe the NBA having an agenda, it wasn't a good look for him. But I think, in my opinion, I think he is more so out of frustration, right? And which also, and not it's not just about the refereeing. I think he's always been looked at as like not the best player on that team. And when you look at the team and how through the years, like he's always been the one he's been more, in my opinion, consistent than Jason Tatum. He always come up big. You can't. There have been times when Jason Tatum didn't come up big, and then Jaylen Brown have come up big, right? But people, for some reason, still wanted to put Jason Tatum ahead of him. And throughout this time, like he's never complained or said anything or pushed back on that. He just kept his head down and kept working, right? And at times, the teams have even talked about splitting these two guys up. And so it came to, and a lot of people thought that, all right, well, if you break up Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, most likely it's going to be Brown that's going to be the odd man out. And I think that Brown probably is figuring now, after he had this type season he did without Jason Tatum, the numbers he put up without Jason Tatum, how far the team got into the playoffs, because of him and the season that he had mainly. I think I think Brown is ready to leave the Boston Celtics. And so he might be to the point where he say, "Well, all right, if Tatum is your guy, then let's see what your guy can do without me, because we already seen what I can do without Brown, but let's see what your guy can do without me, right?" And so that's what I think a lot of his frustration and everything is boiling down to. And I think it's going to get to the point where they he may force his way out of Boston, or Boston might feel like it's time for him to leave. But I want to react to the conversation that was had on the Nightcap show with Shannon Sharp and Ocho Cinco and Joe Johnson, and this is Cedric Maxwell too. So I want to react to that conversation.
Hello, it's your favorite sports thunk here. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to join the.
So I think part of him is like, I showed you guys more of who I am as a basketball player, not only just, what I did on the basketball court, but the leadership that I displayed within, this team. And you've seen that. Not having our, best player in JT. You've seen a different side of me and what I'm able to bring to the game of basketball. So all that stuff, I think just came into play with him and his frustration. However,
Unger. Before we go, Joe, this is what Brad. Before we get your thoughts, JB responded. I hate that our president of basketball operation even had to respond to this. Me and Brad have a great relationship. I love Boston. If it was up to me, I could play here for the next 10 years. He added that this was his favorite year of his career. Brad, what's really going on? Now think about it. This man has won an NBA championship, Finals MVP. He's been to another Finals where he was the Larry Bird winner. Now this year he get put out in the second round, and he said this was his favorite year. What's going on, Brad? What's really going on, Brad?
Here's the.
And I think, like I said, this was his favorite year because I think he discovered something about himself, and he proved something about himself that he can lead a team. I think this right here just upped his his confidence. I think also his stock is high around the league. Now, not that other teams, not that teams around the league didn't know like what he can do, but You know, this I think he thinks that his stock, and I would agree that his stock right now is pretty high.
They had asked them that before the playoffs about what kind of year. This is before Jaylen Brown, before Tatum ever came back. They asked him, they said, what do you think about this year? He said, it's my favorite year because people had put the Celtics down. Think about it. This was a gap year for the Celtics. They weren't even supposed to be playing. So I think that's why I think he enjoyed it so much, the fact that he was able to put this in everybody's face. And people, and I got to understand this, Joe. The Celtics pissed me off, but they gave me $350 million. You know what?
Ooh.
Piss on me all the time if you want to. I don't care. Give me an umbrella, okay? Ocho, give me a damn umbrella, okay? If they peeing like that, damn. Ocho, you always talking about that club down in that place down in Miami, wherever it is, Tootsie's or wherever.
Yeah.
If they peeing like that.
But see, for Brown, it's not just about basketball. This guy right here, I mean, it's not just about money. It's about, like, he's passionate about basketball. So I'm sure he's glad that he's making the kind of money that he's making. But he also is somebody who takes pride in what he do on the court. So it's not just about money. So, and you, as a fan, you like to see somebody who's going to put out this kind of effort, no matter, you know, whether because sometimes some of these players will get that money and then, you know, they don't perform up to. This guy got money and then performed even better. So that's a good look.
I'm coming out there with some rain shoes on. I'm good. 300 million. You pissed off about what? I ain't pissed off. I'm good.
Hey, look, I think we all could agree that he's been underrated. You got to think about it. They took two of his former teammates. They say but he fit better. Those guys we don't have no offense. They understood that unless it's a layup or a wide open three, we're not running plays. We had veteran guys, and they play the same. Basically, they play JT and JB play the same position as LeBron, Kevin Durant, and I guess you could say Anthony Davis. But and so he's like, hold on, wait a damn minute. I don't care. I don't care. You got to be able to find a role for me on something as a finals MVP. And you took two guys that ain't been the finals MVP.
Excuse me, gentlemen, who ran that team? Wasn't that Nike that ran that team? And what happened? He didn't like what happened with Kyrie Irving. He also has his own shoe. So you ain't going in there in somebody else's kitchen and start talking a lot of noise, and you think that Nike is about to bring you on that team? People cannot look at it if they want to, but you're a fool if you think that Nike didn't have something to do with Jaylen Brown not being on that team. And that is for sure as can be, because Jaylen Brown has his own shoe. When Kyrie Irving got kicked off that Nike squad, he was pissed off about that. He was very vocal. And what do you think Nike said about that? You think Nike's going to say, hey, you know what? We're going to bring you on the Olympic team. Hell to the no. Hell to the no.
Joe? I agree, man. I think, with JB having his own shoe, his own endorsement, Nike wasn't going for it because there's no way you mean to tell me he could have three of his damn teammates on the USA team and he don't make it.
Yeah.
That just didn't make no sense to me. So
it made
about
to you, Joe. Stop.
Well, and yes, so you think about it. So you had Derek White was on the team. You had Jason Tatum was on the team. I don't know who the third person was on the team, and he didn't make it. But still, and every time, I don't care whether it's Nike or whoever, he always Jaylen Brown always proved the naysayers wrong, and he do that with his performance on the court. So he do it in the right way. He don't just cry and complain about Nike treating him unfairly, or or the media is treating him unfairly. He do it the right way. He just do it with his play on the court, and everybody see that, everybody recognize that, and like I said, I think he probably wants out of I think he want out of Boston.
It made sense.
Well, yeah, it made sense, but that's what we talk about when we talk about politics in the game.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
that's what people be talking about, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because he would have fit to the T. Now that Jason Tatum really didn't get to play, hell, I don't know if they wanted to bring on another forward because you already got KD and LeBron. So here, whoever playing behind them, you're gonna play limited minutes. Y'all gotta understand these are 10-minute quarters. These ain't 12-minute quarters.
Right.
So that's an extra 8 minutes that guys. This is only a 40-minute game. So I think a lot came to play in that. But I also think it put JB in a position to where he wanted to prove everybody wrong. Which he said this was his best year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think JT probably said, hell, y'all could have left me at home if y'all were going to play me no more than this. All I did is take that long-ass trip over there to be sitting on the damn bench. Yeah. And I'm a three-time All-NBA selection. I'm a former Larry Bird Eastern Conference MVP. And y'all got me sitting on the bench. And when I did get in the game, I ain't played with like 2-3 minutes.
Well, you got to admit that Tatum didn't play well. He didn't play well. And because of that, if you're Steve Kerr was playing for one thing. That was for the gold medal. I don't give a damn what this other guy did or what your record was. You can put that on the background. We playing for a gold medal. He got the gold medal. If he had played Tatum and Tatum has talked about that. Tatum said, I didn't play well. So sometimes you have to sit there and cheer for other guys. And so I think that's kind of what happened, why he didn't play. But that whole thing about JB and who he was and how he feels, he feels like slighted because he's one of the top 10 players in the NBA this year. But those things happen when you play on the team.
Yeah, they made it abundantly clear. There are three guys. There was Kevin Durant, there's Steph Curry, and there's LeBron James. If y'all want to come, we're going to sign y'all. We're going to put y'all in here right now. Everybody else, you got to come audition.
Yeah.
You got to, if you're an actor, you got to come to the table read. Other than that, you want to be in the movie, you got it. and it's hard to argue. Look at the way KD played. Look at the way LeBron played. Look at the way Steph played. Can we argue about their playing time, considering what Steph did in that finals against the France team, what LeBron and KD did against the Serbian team? Who did they play? Was that was that South Sudan that had the the team down and LeBron goes crazy? It's hard.
Shannon, you bring up a great point. You start talking about movies. If you in a movie with Denzel, how many damn lines you think you about to get?
Yeah. Also, though, I would push back on that and say that you got Tatum and you got Brown. These are younger guys, right? And you don't want to burn the bridge with these guys. LeBron won't be there in the Olympics next year or the next time they go. Kevin Durant won't be there. Steph Curry won't be there, right? So and I'm sure that Tatum and Brown, they'll think twice. I don't know if they're gonna go or not, but I know that they'll think twice. They'll definitely think twice. So it is what it is. I think Brown is ready to leave Boston, and because he had some success this year, and he can go somewhere else, in my opinion. I'm not sure what his contract situation is, but whenever, if they trade him and he goes somewhere, he might just have fun because he already he got a ring already, so he could just play for the love of the game. And I think he the kind of guy who would just do that. He'll go out there, he'll give you everything he got for the love of the game, and see how far he can carry a team that's structured around him, built around him, and see what he can do with it, his own team. So that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe. And with that being said, I'm gonna check y'all out in the next video. Peace.